Doug Suttles is BP's Chief Operating Officer, and he joins us live this morning from Robert, Louisiana. Mr. Suttles, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Maggie.
There are questions this morning about the accuracy of the estimate of the amount of oil that is spewing from the well. The government has put it at 5,000 barrels a day. I know that BP has said it's impossible to measure, but if scientists around the world believe that it could actually be 4 or 5 times greater than the government estimate, and there are better methods to get a more accurate read, don't you think it's the government's responsibility to get it right and your responsibility to make sure that they get it right?
Well, you know, Maggie, since the beginning, we've said it's very difficult to put a precise number on this. The two things we know is what we see through the video and then what we can measure on the surface. And we think that's a reasonable estimate, but it's highly uncertain. But what I can tell you is, you know, we're mounting the biggest response ever done, and it's not related to whether it's 5,000 barrels a day or a different number. We're applying every single resource possible. I mean, we've got the boom airlift taking place with airplanes flying in from around the world. We're putting every effort into this. It's really not tied to the rate.
But Mr. Suttles, with all due respect, it's not working. And if you underestimate the size of the spill, isn't it possible that you're underestimating your response?
Well, you know, Maggie, I don't think so. I think that what we're actually doing here is, you know, we've actually been fairly successful so far at keeping this offshore. I think it's partly due to our efforts. It's partly due to Mother Nature. We've been very fortunate that there's been limited impact on shore. And I think the people of this region expect us to do everything we can, regardless of what that number is, and that's what we're doing.
Will you consider that you might need more help from either the government or from private agencies, since you say you're doing everything you can and it still has not stopped?
You know, Maggie, we're taking help from everywhere. I mean, I think Secretary Salazar and Chu actually were commenting on this earlier this week. We've got the best scientists, the best minds, the best engineers, not only from our company, from the industry, from the government, and from academia. You know, we have over 13,000 people working on this right now around the region. So we're taking help from everywhere. We're taking ideas from everywhere. And we're going to stay at this till we get the flow stopped, and we're going to do everything we can to minimize this.
So I'll ask you then today the same question I asked you a couple of weeks ago. Today, do you believe you are days, weeks, or months from stopping this?
You know, Maggie, I think that the techniques we're going to try over the next 24 hours, we need to remember about trying to contain this leak. They won't stop it. Hopefully by next week we'll try some additional techniques to stop it, and then our ultimate backstop is a relief well. So we're not going to be able to stop it today or the next few days. The earliest chance for that will probably be late next week. But I can tell you we're going to keep trying. We'll apply every technique we can until we bring this thing to a close.
Doug Suttles, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you, Maggie.
You're welcome.
A lot happens early on The Early Show, weekday mornings on CBS.